All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Urban Heat R&B Talk on a Tuesday. My name is Steve Gooseby. In the studio with Rich Sports. We're going to talk about a lot of things in sports today. Matter of fact, we're going to start out with sports, but I want to welcome my special guests in studio with me for the first time, but the second time with the Urban Heat. Get up for City Councilor Flynn.
Hey, Steve, great to be with you. And
okay, wait a minute. Why am we getting this feedback here? Give me 1 second there. Let's see. It's usually something on my end. I think that did it.
Yep, we're all set, Steve.
Say something, Ed.
Hey, Steve, it's good to be with you, my friend.
There we go. I'm the engineer of the year now. All right. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's Happy New Year to everybody. It's great to be here. Some great sports over the weekend.
Oh, man.
I love the Patriots, but I also love college sports as well, and love college basketball, and I love watching the women's college basketball too.
Yeah, I love women's college now too. It's on another level now.
They play great defense. They're passing the ball. They're giving it 100%. I really love the sport.
Yeah. Let's talk sports since Patriots. I'm sure you watched the game.
I watched the game with my son, and he's a real Patriots nut. So
yeah,
I'm not into it like he is, but he knows every player in every position.
Yeah, that was a good game, and like all the so-called experts picked Texans to win that game because of their defense, and their defense is solid. It is solid, but it really reminds me of even back in 2001 in those early years, right, when Belichick was coaching, how everybody always picked the other teams, but we seem to always come out on top. You know what I'm saying, Rich?
Well, Steve, you know what? I'm realizing now, I'm listening to these guys talk.
Yeah,
they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder.
Yeah,
because everybody's been talking about the easy schedule, and that's just the NFL. If you finish last place, you play a last place schedule the next season, and what happens is your strength of schedule is not as difficult. But at the end of the day, these are professional teams that you're going against, and right now, we're one game away from the Super Bowl. Strength of schedule has nothing to do with anything. This time of year, it's all about playing the best teams. And listen, right now, Steve, I'm kind of still shocked after a 4-13 season last year that we're one game away from the Super Bowl right now.
Listen, I wouldn't have called it, but did you hear what Cardi B had to say?
No, what did she say?
There's no excuse. I don't want to hear no excuse. Put their ass off to be here, okay? We done play almost every team. Bad, almost every team. And this shit ain't no easy way out. It's work. My nigga gotta work at 6 a.m. and get out at 7.
Listen.
And then keep on working 6 days a week.
And
listen.
You know what's crazy?
Ain't no fucking shortcut.
Listen, I'd rather listen to her than Taylor Swift.
Well, I was getting ready to say, Steve,
we
got Cardi B in New England, and Kansas City has Taylor Swift. Okay, hey, let's roll, man. Let's get to the Super Bowl, man.
Let's make it happen.
It's going to be a great game next week. And
you
know what I think the Patriots' strength is their coaching staff, but the team is working together as a team.
Yeah,
and it's no individuals. It's about doing what's best for the team, making those sacrifices, giving it 100%. I like it when they don't have big stars or big names on a team. It's just everyone working hard, doing their job.
That does make a difference.
It makes a difference.
It does make
Rich,
a difference.
Yeah.
Well, Ed, when you said the coaching staff, a lot of people don't realize this. You have Mike Vrabel, ex-player, ex-coach. Same thing with Josh McDaniels, ex-coach in a couple of different teams. We also have Ben McDougal. We have Doug Marrone. These are all ex-head coaches on our team. We have the most experienced coaching staff in the league. This is why I personally think this team came together so quick, plus the personnel moves in the offseason, the free agents, and our draft class was really good. People are not paying attention, but all our rookies are actually contributing to this team. I got to give Bob Kraft credit. I felt bad about Gerard Mayo being fired after 1 year, but he was not put in the greatest situation to be successful.
And he wasn't ready.
Didn't have a great coaching staff.
He only had a year or 2 years on the sideline. That's not enough experience.
He was thrust into it. And let's be honest, Gerard Mayo, great Patriot. I mean, very good guy in the community. But Mike Vrabel coming in here, it was I don't know, it was like a godsend situation for the New England Patriots to get back, being relevant in the NFL.
And to bring back the best coordinator in the business, offensive coordinator with Josh McDaniels.
Right.
I mean, come on.
That's a great combination.
Yeah.
I think they can really relate to their coaching staff and as former coaches, head coaches. But I think Vrabel really brings in a different dynamic as an outstanding player.
Yes.
And, Super Bowl championship. I think players look up to a coach that is won at the highest level. And I think Vrabel has a good way about him where he's bringing people on the team with him and not yelling at people, not being overly aggressive, but working as a team, making sure everyone's doing their part.
I think he understands that from being a former player.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the things I watched that he brings to this whole coaching staff, that would not, like I said before, the experience. Vrabel's won 3 Super Bowls as a player. Josh McDaniels won about 3 Super Bowls as a coordinator. So right now, this team is very experienced from the coaching standpoint. And you know what? The players didn't look like they were overwhelmed being in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, you mentioned not having the big names. Just like when Belichick was here in the beginning, we didn't have the big names,
right.
but we drafted players, and we created the big names. Like Deion Branch was not Deion Branch until he got on the Patriots.
David Givens,
yes. Troy Brown. None of those guys were considered big names.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with this team. Like, to me, if you ask me, Keyshawn Boutte, he's a dog.
Right.
Even last year with Gerard Mayo, I thought he was a great receiver. What's our slot guy?
Pop Douglas. Well, Steve, if you think about it, we hadn't heard from Pop Douglas in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Wasn't he was hurt, right?
No, he wasn't hurt.
Oh, okay.
But Steve, look what happened Sunday. First touchdown, give him that little short pass right over the middle.
Yeah.
Get him in space. He scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
But that's the dynamics of this team. Everybody gets used depending on the team that we're playing against, the scouting report. And everybody is ready all the time. That's another thing. These guys are always ready to make plays.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing, playing against Denver, too, you never want to see a player hurt.
No,
but their quarterback is hurt.
Yeah.
He's out, I think, for the season.
He broke a bone in his foot.
Yeah.
They're going to play Jarrett Stidham, the expatriate 4th round pick. Okay. And you know what? I'm not taking it light. I remember what Nick Foles did to us in the Super Bowl, So me personally, I'm not taking it light.
I think it was different with Nick, though, because Nick started, during the season, he came in after the injury.
And he had started for a team before that. You're right about that.
Stidham only started like 5 games.
Last time he threw a pass, they said it was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember when the Patriots were playing, I think it was New Jersey. Was Peyton Manning's brother was on the team?
Eli, yes.
Eli.
Yeah, the Giants.
And there was the Giants. And there was no way that the Patriots could lose. They were undefeated that year.
Yeah, you think about
and what
that.
happened?
Yeah.
They lost the game.
You know what?
And you know what? Bill Parcells took a backup quarterback, Jeff Hostetler, and won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, Jarrett Stidham, people are like, oh, listen, I think we're going to win the game, but I don't take guys lightly because these guys are in the NFL. And what a lot of people don't realize, the backup quarterback studies more film than anybody on the team.
That's true. That's a good point.
And if you look around the NFL, a lot of these head coaches are backup quarterbacks because those guys understand the game. Mm-hmm. They break down the film, and backup quarterbacks always become great head coaches a lot of times.
Well,
they know what they're doing.
Right. Well, if the NFL has anything to do with it, they are not putting Stidham on the marketing.
that would be a Super Bowl marketing nightmare for the NFL.
I don't see it happening, man. But no, you're right. You can't sleep on them. You still got to prepare the way you would prepare normally for any team. But I do think if we could just talk about Buffalo real quick, because I believe they got robbed. They were robbed in that game, man. That one play where they called where it was an interception. It was just a poor call. I thought he was down by contact. If you look at the replay, you know?
That play, Steve. Oh my God! I mean, you know what? I'm happy we're going to Denver. That's my personal opinion. I would prefer to go to Denver than play Josh Allen.
Right.
I know Patriots fans wanted Buffalo to win because they wanted the AFC Championship game at Foxborough, and that's fans wanting another game at the stadium, AFC Championship. Me personally, I wanted to go to Denver. Even if Bo Nix was playing, Steve, I wanted to go to Denver.
Right.
I just didn't want no parts to Josh Allen.
Right. I think the Patriots have a good chance against Denver. Looking forward to the game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an exciting week leading up to it.
Yeah.
And it's about practice this week. They're going to Denver. They're going to a different climate, different weather. And practice is going to be critical this week.
Well, they'll probably get there a couple of weeks ahead. I mean, a couple of days ahead.
Yeah.
Because, from what I hear,
Mile
athletes, they always have you have to adjust to that high altitude. That's
exactly
been known
right.
for years with athletes up there.
Yep. That's exactly right.
All right. One more thing about sports, and then we'll move on to politics real quick. Did you hear the rumor about Belichick?
Yeah, Steve, man.
Buffalo, possibly?
I've been watching the
I didn't hear
airwaves,
that
man.
one. No.
Yeah, the airwaves are kind of heating up. That Bill Belichick might get a call from Buffalo.
Okay.
I think that'll be a great move.
Yeah, the airwaves are heating up right now. That Belichick might get a call and get an interview from the Buffalo Bills, which would really be funny. Imagine Belichick going against the Patriots 2 times a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's more of a head coach than a college a pro coach than a college coach. At North Carolina,
Yes.
Obviously it didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
But I do think he'd be a tremendous coach anywhere he goes, and he knows how to bring people up.
Well, the Buffalo job is like a very, right now, I call it the most sought after job right now. You got Josh Allen. You got probably the best quarterback in the league right now. And any coach.
And you just can't put anybody in that spot.
Yeah, that's right. Buffalo wants a championship.
Yeah, right.
I kind of feel bad for the people of Buffalo, actually.
Right.
They call them what is it, Steve? The Buffalo Mafia up there?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That team went to the Super Bowl 4 times in the 90s and lost. And those fans up there, man, listen. And then we get Tom Brady and dominate the division for 20-something years. I tell you, those poor fans up in Buffalo. I'm a New England Patriots fan, but if there's a fan base that I feel sorry for, is the Buffalo fans.
You want to talk about the emotions of winning and losing? Oh my God, yeah, they're going through it right now. But so we'll get back to some more Patriots talk, and plus the Celtics are still rolling. We're going to talk about the Celtics and get into a few other things. The Clarity Act when it comes to cryptocurrency, we're going to talk about that. But let's get into what's going on in our neighborhoods, man, in the city of Boston, man, right now?
Well, what is happening is we're going into the budget season now, and we have major financial challenges facing our city. And I think we're going to see that as it plays out with the budget process that will soon happen at the city council. I do expect that we're going to have cuts to services, potential cuts to personnel. We do see a rise of property taxes for businesses and residents as well. But I think the situation, especially the financial situation in Boston, is much more serious than the media has reported or experts have reported. I do think we have to demonstrate fiscal discipline, fiscal responsibility, accountability. But I think we need to be more transparent with residents. I think residents want to hear the news, even if it's bad news. They can live with that, but I don't think they want to hear or be caught off guard about different issues that they don't know about, that they should know about.
Right. So let's dig into that some more. What are some of you said that cuts are coming. So what are some of the services that might be on the chopping block?
I unfortunately think the Boston Public Schools are going to be cut. I think they have significant financial challenges, maybe up to $100 million facing BPS. They do have some type of hiring freeze although it's not geared towards teachers or, paraprofessionals or substitute teachers. It's more towards the administrators or personnel that don't necessarily communicate every day with students. But I do know that there's a role for these critical jobs. They do provide exceptional services, and a student needs the academic support in the classroom, but they also need support outside of the classroom as well, whether it's after school programs, whether it's sports programs, assistance to their family. We need to support the families as well. I think some of those types of cuts we are going to see in the school system, and we have to be prepared for that and have an honest conversation.
Well, Ed, you're saying the cuts. It's funny you say that. So are you talking like community centers also? Because I actually help out at the Vine Street Community Center.
Okay.
And that place, oh my God, that place is amazing. I mean, the director there, Dave Hinton, he does an amazing job. And I tell you, that building gets utilized. Me and Steve played there as kids back in the 70s, and then it was closed down. Then they refurbished it in like 2000, and they did another refurbish. That place is amazing. What do you think? Would that affect these community centers, any of their programs that you're talking about, these cuts?
I think we're seeing it already, unfortunately. I don't want to see cuts to programs that really help people like BCYF. I was on the phone earlier with the BCYF chief, Jose Masso, talking about a particular facility in my district. But BCYF facilities play a critical role in our neighborhoods, especially helping our young people in need and from challenging neighborhoods. For example, the Blackstone BCYF program, it is struggling. We don't have a swimming pool that hasn't operated in years. But my concern is, how do we get young people, many young people of color, whether they're at Villa Victoria, they're at Cathedral Public Housing, which is the Ruth Barclay, how do we get them into swimming lessons? I think we need to ensure every young person in Boston knows how to swim, and swimming lessons at BCYF facilities are critical. But we have to have an honest discussion about what is going to be cut in the city. We have to be transparent, but we have to be upfront with residents, explaining to them what is going to get cut and what we have to do as a city to work together, to respect each other, and to support each other, especially during these challenging times.
Well, at the Mason swimming pool, Vine Street goes there, and the kids go there during the summer. That place gets utilized very well.
It does.
So I mean, in the inner city, the young Black kids do love to swim.
They do.
Those kids go there, and I see how they love to go swimming in the summertime.
That's important.
So what's stopping the Blackstone pool from being used? Is it just funding?
Well, the Blackstone pool has been not operating for years. It's an old building. In the structure of the building, they only can fix the pool if they need to put significant money into it. And there's plans to tear down the current Blackstone school and rebuild it. That's in their project and their planning. But the Blackstone pool can't be fixed unless there's a new school built.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But my main point is, I represent the South End. I want to see South End and Roxbury kids having access to swimming lessons, just like any kid from West Roxbury or Beacon Hill or Back Bay would have access to swimming lessons. Yeah. That's a critical skill, a critical exercise that everybody needs to know.
Oh, most definitely. Like I said, me and Steve, we grew up together, and we used to go to the Mason swimming pool back. What was that? Early 70s, Steve, to mid 70s. I remember
the Mason. We used to swim there all the time.
Yeah, we would
play baseball across the street from there.
And play baseball, and they're doing that park over. Is that part of the city program
that
also?
Is. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're doing a fabulous job.
Right, Mass Ave there.
Yeah, renovating that park over there. I'm glad to see there's some things going on that's keeping the kids busy. But like you said, when you make cuts, the kids do suffer. And I think it's on a national level because I mean our current president he seemed like he's threatening every blue city with cuts. That seems to be the way you get at the governors and the mayors in the blue cities. You're threatening to make cuts to programs.
I think you're exactly right, and I think that's a major issue. We are facing federal cuts to so many programs, but we are getting federal cuts to BPS and probably to other public safety related support. We're getting cuts from the federal government for climate resiliency projects, infrastructure projects. They are having a major impact on how Boston will prepare for this upcoming budget and what our spending priorities will be. But we don't have a friend in the White House that is supportive of urban America or supportive of cities like Boston or New York or Chicago. But we need to acknowledge that, but we need to prepare and be fiscally disciplined and responsible, knowing we're having significant federal cuts. The federal ARPA funds, which were funds that were given to cities and states during COVID to address the pandemic, those funds are all over now, but we can't rely on those funds. Some of those funds Boston had went to support salaries for different city employees, such as emergency management that play a critical role, or transportation planners. But those funds should not have been used for salaries, in my opinion. And we're going to have to decide at the City of Boston Emergency Management how we fill those salaries, that we can't use that federal funds any longer because simply we don't have it, or we don't have the federal funds for transportation planning.
Will this cause raising property tax and taxes in the city?
It will.
Yeah,
it will.
Which they've already done with residential, but
that's right. Residential taxes have went up significantly.
Right. So with all that being said, we know those cuts are coming, and and we got to prepare for it. So in regards to the kids, how is this going to affect them? What's the solution to, as far as preparing for what's about to come?
It's a great question, Steve. And I think it's making sure everyone does their part, including our nonprofits, our colleges and universities, and hospitals, to support youth in Boston. And sports is a critical venue that we need to continue and to support athletics for young people in our city, but also the academic support is critical as well. I think these colleges and universities and hospitals and business community need to have better partnerships, strategic partnerships with the City of Boston on academics, job training, support, to ensure that our young people, whether they're in public schools or in private schools, have the opportunity to get after-school programs, to get tutoring, food access. We want to make sure every family, when you're studying for your homework at night, you can't study if your stomach is growling and you don't have any food in your belly, including your mother and father or your guardian. So food access is a critical issue in support of our youth, and we need to make sure that is a top priority as well. Exercise support, health, mental health counseling for our youth is also important. We need to ensure that our youth have every opportunity to be successful, to live healthy lives, to live positive lives, and to become a good citizen. And we want to give them the tools. And during challenging times, it's about working together to ensure that we do that, but respecting differences as well.
Well, that makes sense, because if you're keeping kids off the streets after school and going to community centers involving sports and other programs, it does make a difference in the city.
It certainly does. When you're playing sports and you go to school in the morning, you're playing sports at night, you're tired. When you get home, you want to have some supper and maybe you do some homework, and that's it. And same on the weekends. You want to spend your time studying. You want to spend your time playing sports. And when you do that, you don't have time for hanging on the street corner and getting into trouble. It's about sports. It's about after-school programs. It's about academics. It's about living healthy lives. And that's what's important in our city. And our young people deserve the opportunity to be successful, to be healthy, to live healthy lives, to grow old. And we want to provide every opportunity in a healthy environment to ensure young people have that opportunity. They deserve it.
Yeah, but you're right, Ed. Community centers do play a big role in the lives of the city kids.
They do, and sometimes you see a coach down there that has a kind word to say to a person that's playing basketball, and that kind word or that encouragement may go a long way. Maybe that person that's playing basketball or soccer, maybe he or she doesn't have that person in their life at home that understands how important sports is, or teamwork, or discipline. And maybe that coach's encouraging words might help that child, in school, in sports, right, working as a team, being disciplined. I learned those values and those lessons certainly in my neighborhood in South Boston, playing sports. But I learned that serving. I served 25 years in the U.S. Navy, and I learned about discipline, responsibility, and teamwork. It's not about you. It's about your team. It's about the people you work with, developing them, making sure that they're successful. They have the training opportunities. So
there's no plans to close any of the community centers, are they? I hope not.
No, I hope not. Also, there might be some cuts to
the
programming.
There
could be. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating for that, but I think what's important is we advocate in support of those BCYF facilities. We know they're playing a critical role across the city. There's some wonderful people that work there as well. And certainly the team up at City Hall in the BCYF department does a very good job. But we want to ensure that we work with them to provide them with the necessary resources and support. And that's what I'm going to do as a city councilor, is to fight to ensure that we don't have cuts to critical programs that support our young people and our seniors also.
Well, Ed, if you ever get a chance, come by and visit the Vine Street Community Center, and you'll see what goes on there. It's an amazing place,
I will. I'd love to come by. I was there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I'd love to come by and say hello. And I know the people there. They do an incredible job. I'll come by in the next couple of weeks and say hello. And
they do an amazing job there. And you'll see what they do there. It's amazing what goes on there.
No, I'm glad to hear that. And I think that's what our city employees are all about. They do the job. They don't look for credit. They just want to give back and make the city better. They want to help people. They're longtime Boston residents. They know the challenges that young people experience growing up. And some of them have made mistakes themselves, and they don't want to see young people making the same mistakes. That's why a coach is important. An encouraging word from a teacher is important. A role model, an after-school program. It's about giving kids an opportunity that maybe we didn't have, and hopefully the next generation has more opportunities to live a healthy life, a successful life, where they can remain in the city and have a family and have a career. I think that's the American dream.
Right. And I don't know why I'm feeling this way all of a sudden, but I feel like it's a lot worse than what we're talking about, as far as what's about to happen with all the cuts and everything else that's just going on in the world. And so we're talking about the schools, we're talking about the community centers, and what about safety in the neighborhoods and some of the other areas that may possibly be cut?
Yeah, safety could be cut as well. Boston does receive federal funds from the federal government that is passed down to the state government and to Boston. And it's for partnerships with cities and towns outside of Boston, such as Somerville, Cambridge, or Chelsea. What happens in Chelsea has an impact, obviously, in East Boston. Or what happens in Newton has an impact on Brighton. But how do you use those funds to support each other if there is some type of major incident that takes place, a public safety incident? You need to be working together with all your partners across Greater Boston. What happens in Boston impacts the towns and cities surrounding it. So it's about partnerships, supporting each other. And I think Boston also has an opportunity as the capital city to support other cities and towns with public safety support. I think that's our job, and that's a critical part of public safety. But I do expect we're going to see some of these cuts in public safety, and I'm going to fight to get them and to support the funds that we desperately need, because I know they work and these partnerships work. And I think it's reckless for the federal government to be cutting funds for cities and towns across Massachusetts.
Well, Ed, you know, this current administration that's running the country, I mean, who don't know when you hear the threats that funding is going to be stopped to all the blue cities, the mayors? You know, as you know, you're a politician. You've seen the battle that's going on around the country with this current administration, with all the mayors. They think there's this, I don't know, there's just thing that the perception that the blue city mayors love crime, or the police commissioners. So, and there's been a threat of cutting public funding to these cities. That helps nobody, if you do something like that. And like Steve just said about safety, you start cutting funding, you're cutting the police forces. You know, you need as many police out on the street as possible, in inner cities. So, I mean, when you're threatening to cut funding, that just makes things worse.
It does. It makes things worse. And also, we still need those same support, those same partnerships. So the question is, how do we fund that particular partnership without federal money or without city money? Because partnerships work, and it's about building trust, building relationships. Community policing works, listening to residents, respecting residents. I do think we have significant public safety challenges in Boston, but I think it's important that we work together during these challenging times, whether it's at Mass and Cass, whether it's at some of our BHA developments where we've had some significant public safety issues.
Yeah, because if you're talking about raising taxes, residents who own homes, you're going to raise my taxes, but you're not giving me the public safety mechanisms, in place to help me.
And why won't they use the reserve? Because I hear there's a reserve. Why aren't they?
There is a reserve. Some of that money was used previously for support of housing programs, but some of that money also, I think you're right, Steve, could be used for other opportunities as well, with serious increases in property taxes and cuts to city services and cuts from the federal government. Is there an opportunity to use some of that reserve money to fill in where those cuts were made? I think it's a great point. And
I mean, if you're really for the people,
you
know what I mean? I mean, the money's there. Why not use it? That's what it's there for.
Right. You're definitely right. We want to make sure that those cuts that do take place are backfilled.
Yeah.
And can we use that reserve fund to support programs that are needed, such as swimming lessons, such as basketball programs, or after-school programs, music programs, tutoring programs? We can't cut those programs. If we cut those programs, we have a student that is not getting those services. We're not preparing that student to be a successful student as he or she grows older, gets into high school. They're without music programs. They're without various tutoring in math. And know what happens when they're applying to college? They're competing with kids from Wellesley or Cambridge or Arlington.
Yeah.
And we know those towns have after-school programs and tutoring and math and science. we should be doing the same. That's why we can't cut critical services and programs for young people across the city.
Right.
Question, Ed. Is anyone advocating for the rent in Boston to come down? Because Boston, the city of Boston, is a very expensive place to live. And, you know, I see a lot of empty lots still. I'm like, these lots should probably go where you should put apartment buildings on these lots. They give it more apartment buildings, so maybe the rent could come down. Is anyone in City Hall advocating to bring rents down? I mean, I know that's a touchy subject, because if you got someone who bought a house, say 25 years ago, and that house is bringing in a lot of profit for them, and they're getting $3,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment, you're telling this person, oh, you should be charging less, and you're raising their taxes. That's a touchy subject.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Yeah, and let me just say too, and they've already changed the law on how realtors get paid in terms of commissions. And
that's right.
And I've never seen so many for rent signs up in my life. And I've been in real estate since the mid early 2000s. So yeah, I mean, I'm with Rich on that. You know, I felt like the whole time that it wasn't about taking the money from the realtor. It's about, you know, making these places more affordable for people to live in.
Right.
And you know, a 1-bedroom, I mean, I'm trying to help someone find an elderly person find a 1-bedroom now, and it's like you're talking $3,000 depending on in a decent location.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and for someone that's on a fixed income, you know, that $3,000 a month is a lot of money. And then if they're renting the apartment and the taxes go up on the homeowner, well, the homeowner, unfortunately, is going to increase the rent. That's the challenge I have on rent control or rent stabilization, is if we do implement rent control or rent stabilization, there is a proposal on the state ballot this year on that issue. But when we do, if it is implemented, does that mean that the homeowner can only charge a certain amount, and also his or her property taxes are going up as well? So homeowners do deserve an opportunity to make a profit and to be successful. We don't want to penalize homeowners, but we also want to ensure that Boston's a city for everybody, especially for working class families. So I think there is a balance. I don't think the rent control proposal is appropriate at this time. I don't support it. I believe Governor Healy also came out and is against it. I don't know about my colleagues in city government. They haven't offered an opinion yet. But you're right. It is a controversial subject. I know a lot of people do support it. A lot of people don't support it. But I just think at this time, it's not the right way to go about dealing with the challenging economic climate in our city and state. And when people that want to invest money in Boston or Massachusetts hear about us implementing rent control, they don't want to invest in the city. And that's what's happening in downtown Boston. There's not a crane in the sky, and which means there's limited jobs in construction.
Yeah.
And because of the poor, because it's not a positive climate for the business community, a lot of financial people don't want to invest in Boston. So we have some significant challenges facing the city.
So Ed, is there a lot of commercial buildings empty right now?
There are. I represent a good portion of downtown Boston with a financial district.
So why wouldn't those be converted into apartments? And you guys maybe give them some type of a tax break. I heard that was a thing for a while, that maybe the mayor was proposing, give the commercial property owners a tax break and convert those into apartments. That would even bring the rents in Boston down.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That is happening in Boston. There is a program that is taking place where some of these apartments, some of these buildings are being converted into apartments. Right now in the financial district and throughout downtown Boston, about 25%. We have about a 25% vacancy rate.
That would be great. A lot of the young professionals love living downtown close to Seaport.
Right. But a lot of it, it does take significant money to renovate the existing office into a residential. But that's where the city is heading to in addressing some of the housing crisis. We don't have enough housing in Boston. I believe we need more housing for working class families and workforce housing, like you mentioned. And providing housing in downtown Boston is an option that I have supported and advocated for. And actually, some of it has taken place in my district, and I provided critical support to get it done.
And just jumping back to the rent control real quick, I think that would create a bigger problem anyways, because if you bought let's say you bought a 3-family for $1 million, and your mortgage is $7,000 or $6,000 a month or whatever it is, you got that loan based on the rents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you own, even a 6-unit building and so on, that's not going to work.
Yeah. It penalizes property owners. They have worked hard. They've invested their life savings in a piece of property. Maybe it's a 2-family, maybe it's a 3-family. They're not wealthy. They're not rich. They're paying their bills like and everybody else.
Are up,
and their taxes are
everything
up
else.
But they are participating in the American dream of owning a home. We want to make sure everybody has the ability to own a home if they can, but we don't want to penalize someone that has been successful, that bought a house, to put more taxes or more penalties on that person. It's a disincentive, and it doesn't send the right message. Where if you work hard, you buy a home, we want to penalize you with rent control or rent stabilization. That's not the answer. The answer is to build more affordable housing and workforce housing, and give people the opportunity for the American dream.
Yeah. A lot of politics involved, though.
There is.
A lot of politics.
It's not just politics.
Right.
It's politricks.
Yeah, politricks. There you go. I like that. We were talking about Brian Worrell earlier.
Yeah.
So he didn't get reelected.
Well, Brian got reelected to the city council.
Okay.
From his district, but Brian was running for city council president.
Right.
And it was between him and Councilor Coletta, and Councilor Coletta dropped out. And then at the last minute, city councilors, Councilor Durkin, working with the mayor, was able to encourage Councilor Liz Braden to run, and they were able to secure the votes for her.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is, what frustrates me is, of all the 13 city councilors, I was the former city council president as well, but of all the 13 city councilors, there is no more talented, experienced leader on the city council than Brian Worrell.
Right.
Brian was appointed 2 years ago by Rutzi Louis Jean, who was the city council president at the time, to be the vice president of the city council and to be chair of the most important and significant committee, which is the Ways and Means.
Right.
So he's basically the number 2 person in waiting to become the council president. But Brian was defeated. And what really bothered me is a couple of things. I nominated Brian. I voted for Brian. But 3 out of 4 of the city councilors of color did not vote for Brian. Councilor Julia Mejia did. But
why do you think they didn't vote for him?
Well, I think they were intimidated, and they wanted to
politics.
They wanted to support the mayor's candidate. But there was a extremely well-qualified leader, a person of color, a black man, earned the job. Mm-hmm. No one was giving it to him. No one was giving Brian the job. He earned that, in my opinion. and it was taken away from him at the last minute. And people say, well, you know, that's the body. You guys, there's 12 of you, or there's 13 of you. You guys make the decision. Well, what would happen in the private sector or in another city department or state department if that case took place, where the most qualified person for the job or for the promotion is a person of color, and then they had other candidates that weren't as qualified, and you went with someone that wasn't as qualified?
Right.
That'd be unacceptable.
Yeah.
But why is it acceptable on the Boston City Council? And so now the City Council doesn't have a person of color as vice president, or vice president, which we've had 2 years ago, or the most important committee is Ways and Means. We don't have a person of color on Ways and Means or on training, planning, transportation, or government ops. So the 5 major responsibilities or jobs on the city council are not held by people of color, even though people of color contributed to and voted for the person that got elected.
Yeah.
So it's discouraging. I'm disappointed. It was in my 8 years in the city council, it was the best vote I ever took for city council president, voting for Brian Worrell. But it was also the most disappointing day I had on the city council because he had the opportunity to lead the body based on his experience, based on his background, based on the way he treats his colleagues with respect, includes them, is respectful to them, and he wasn't elected. And that bothers me, and I know it bothers a lot of people across the Black community of Boston.
So even though you guys are all working for the people, you still have your own personal conflicts, infighting going on, huh?
Politics.
Yeah.
Politics. Yeah. But it was orchestrated by City Councilor Sharon Durkin out of the Back Bay and Beacon Hill area. Yeah. I believe Ben Weber as well, Enrique Pepin. But it was a setback for the Black community.
Yeah.
It was a setback for the city. And we've only had a few Black men serve as city council president. The last one was Charles Yancey about 25 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time.
Yeah,
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Bruce Bowling was a city council president.
That's
a long time ago.
But it was time. It was time for a Black man to serve as city council president. And I think Brian had the unique skill set to be an excellent city council president. And I hope he gets his chance 2 years from now. But this was a disservice to the residents of Boston, to Brian personally, to the Black community. And I know it's controversial to say it, and I know people don't like me saying it, but it's a setback for the Black community.
Is there anything the community could have done? And I know that's a vote within the council, but
the community could have played a more active role in educating city councilors on why it's important to have Council Worrell or a Black man as city council president. I think it was a loss for the community, but maybe it's an example to the community that you can't sit out these fights. Yeah. You have to get involved. You have to let your city councilors know who you prefer to see as city council president. And nothing against the city council president that is there now. I'm not criticizing her. She won the election. Mm-hmm. I want to work with her. I want to be respectful to her. But my point is, we had the opportunity to elect a exceptionally qualified man who's done so much work in this city, and we passed on it. And that hurt. And I think that hurt race relations as well.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Yes. Sitting down here with City Councilor Ed Flynn here. You're welcome to join the conversation, 617-238-7111. If you got any questions while he's here, we're just talking politics and politics.
Politics.
On the Urban Heat here.
And Steve, I understand people will disagree with me.
Yeah. I
know what I said is controversial.
Yeah.
But that's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like to tell people something that I don't believe in just so that they agree with me. But I know I do get pushback from a lot of people when I do speak very bluntly like that, but that's just how I feel.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So again, just to backpedal a little bit, we got a lot of cuts coming. We're talking about cuts in the schools, possibly a lot of the community centers, safety, and
what about the fire department?
Yeah.
Would there be any cuts coming to the fire department?
I think it's unlikely there'll be cuts to the fire department, but know what could happen though is they could reduce the number of people going into incoming classes to start out as firemen, as police officers, or as EMS, knowing that the revenue is not there, that instead of having a class of 40 people going into a particular class next year, they might have 30 people. So,
okay, gotcha.
So that in a way that that is a cut.
You know, the reason why I'm asking some of these questions, because Steve can remember this back in the 80s, Proposition 2.5. Yep. I mean, that thing was awful for the city of Boston. I remember firehouses closing down, community centers. Our own Orchard Park Community Center, where me and Steve grew up playing as kids in the 70s, that was closed down for a number of years. And I mean, that Proposition, was that a federal cut back then? Proposition 2.5 in the 80s?
No, that was state.
Oh, that was state.
That was state. And when my father got elected mayor in 83, he came in 84. Firehouses were closed. Police stations were closed.
And community
centers. Teachers were laid off.
That's right.
Boston was dealing with the terrible environment at the time. He had to raise revenue to open police stations.
We had a community center in Orchard Park. Me as a teenager, me and Steve played there in the 70s. They opened in 1974, the Orchard Park Community Center.
Yep.
And in the early 80s, when they Proposition 2.5 hit, I remember being like 17, 18 years old. We didn't even have a place to play basketball.
Right.
The community center was actually boarded up.
Okay.
And it was a terrible thing. Well, in the winter times, we had no place to go.
You had no place to play.
We'd play basketball in the summertime, outside, but in the wintertime, we had no place to play basketball for several years until they finally opened that center in Orchard Park back up.
Yep.
And it was utilized right away, but that was a terrible time in Boston for youth centers.
It certainly was. And a lot of our city departments were still under federal receivership.
And I'm gonna tell you, Ed, not sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
It created a lot of crime in the city back then. I can remember, Ed. There was a lot of crime that started a serious crime wave in the city of Boston back in the mid 80s.
That's right.
Because no one had no place to go but on the street corners.
It took Boston a while to reopen BCYF centers, youth centers, to rehire school teachers, open up fire stations, police stations. There were a lot of cuts.
I'm just hoping we're not going down a road like that now.
I agree with you. My number one priority is ensuring that our young people have the resources to be successful, to be healthy, especially during these challenging economic times.
Yes.
We do have to be fiscally disciplined, but we don't need the number of city employees working at City Hall, working on policy or working on civic engagement. We need to ensure that the money is spent in our neighborhoods, in our communities, helping our kids.
Because, Ed, this is my way of looking at it. You can't take away programs, put kids out on the street, they get in trouble, crime goes up, and now you have the federal government talking about sending in National Guards after you created a problem.
Right.
You take away resources, crime goes up, now you want to send in the National Guards.
Right.
Why don't you just take the resources, the money that you're going to spend on stuff like National Guards or whoever you want to send in, put that money into the communities, for the young people. That's the future.
Politics.
Yeah.
Politics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they say a budget is a reflection of your values. And when we have this budget come out from the mayor and the city council will review it. We have to fight for services and programs for young people. That should be our top priority, supporting our youth. They're our future here in Boston. We need to support them with access to programs, but also so that they can live healthy lives, productive lives, and get into a career so that they have an education, whether it's high school or college or vocational training. Get into a career where they can support their family and work hard and hopefully buy a home and contribute to society. That's what the American dream is all about. But our young people need the opportunity to be healthy and successful, and that's the role of city government.
And what about the elderly?
The elderly have been here in this city for the longest period of time, and they've been here through good times and bad times. And we need to support them during these challenging times with tax relief plans. I know Senator Nick Collins has a lot of good tax relief programs, but also a lot of our elderly are dealing with food access issues. They're looking at it. I saw a woman at my corner store. She had a Campbell soup, and she was looking at it, and I said to her, what are you looking at the Campbell soup for? And she said, oh, I'm looking at the price. And I said, why are you looking at the price? She said it went up 20 cents. Well, for me, 20 cents, that's not an issue. But for that woman, that was determining whether she was going to buy that can of soup or not.
Yeah.
So,
and Campbell soup has always been cheap.
Yeah, it's always been cheap.
And it's probably cheaper now with the fake meat thing they had going on recently. But wow, Campbell soup went up, huh?
Yeah, but it's an example, though, that this economy is having a major impact on our seniors.
Yeah.
And when their property taxes are raised, they're deciding which soup is cheaper, if they're able to afford their prescription drugs, how they're going to get to their doctor's appointment. Do they have enough money for the MBTA, their Charlie card? So it's about supporting our seniors as well.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. That makes a big difference.
It does.
Like you said, when you go in the grocery store, you're definitely watching what's the price of things. I mean, I used to just go in the grocery store and throw stuff in the cart.
Yeah, right.
But now you look at things.
Not anymore.
Like beef.
Yeah.
I don't know when the last time I had a piece of beef. I'm not a big beef person anyway.
Yeah.
But when I looked at the price of some beef in the supermarket, it was like $32 for a piece of steak. I'm like, you know what? It might be a while before I eat some steak.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't eat steak like that anyways, but you know, when I see crazy prices like that, I'm all set.
Right.
I'm all set. I'll change how I eat, or I'll change into something else.
Most definitely.
If it was something I liked a lot, you know.
Know who's doing great work is our nonprofits throughout our city, whether it's in Hyde Park or Mattapan or Roxbury or South Boston. But they're providing a lot of families and seniors in need.
Oh, there's a lot of food pantries that give out food.
Yeah.
I mean, even down at the Vine Street Community Center, there's a church across the street every Friday at 12 o'clock.
Okay.
They're giving away food, boxes of food. And I mean, people are taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
So there's several food pantries around the city. And you know what? I want to give a shout out to whoever's donating this food, that's helping people. There's a place over in Chelsea that I saw when the SNAP benefits was cut. I mean, that place was giving people food. People underestimate the value of people with food in this country.
Right.
It's easy for the current administration to get on television and say there's fraud going on here, there's fraud here, there's fraud here. I mean, okay, you're going to get fraud anywhere in the country, but you don't penalize everyone in the country for that. You know, you don't penalize everybody. So, I mean, people have to eat. I mean, it's expensive to put groceries on the table. Even if you're a middle-class person that has a good income, by the time you pay rent, other bills, car repairs, gas, it's a tough time even for a middle-class person.
Yeah, the heating bill, you see how cold it is outside and people have to turn up their heat to stay warm. Their heating bill is going up. Their electrical bill is going up.
And no one's making any more money.
No one's making any more money. No one's getting an 8% pay raise.
Yeah.
I think our water and sewer bills are pretty reasonable, but I think a lot of other things are going up.
Now, if water and sewer goes up, I mean, come on.
Now, Ed, I got another question for you. This might be a tricky one when we're talking about budget. What happens when the firemen and the Boston police officers' contracts expire? With the budget situation the way it is, that might be tough. Those guys are always looking for a raise, and that might be a tough contract negotiation this time around.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. The city of Boston settled recently with the Boston Police Patrolman Association, but there are other contracts that are coming down. Even though you settle a contract, you almost begin immediately.
Yes,
starting to renegotiate again. So those contracts will be coming up again. But again, our city employees have worked hard. They unionized. They've worked hard. They provide a great service to the residents of Boston, and they also want to stay in the city. Many of them have
most
to.
Definitely, Ed. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, I'm a union guy. I worked for the MBTA for 30 years.
Okay, Carmen's union.
Yeah, Carmen's union.
Yeah.
You probably know some of my constituents there.
Oh yeah,
and
I got a great union.
And I'm gonna tell you, I did 30 years there, and every time a contract came up, your union's trying to get you a raise.
That's right.
And the public don't always think that you deserve a raise, especially in tough economic times. And unfortunately, the public always think when you're working in any type of government jobs, firemen, police officers, MBTA, bus drivers, and stuff or whatever, they always think we're overpaid when we're asking for more money.
Right. Well, I always advocate too when the city of Boston has an opportunity to increase COLAs, cost of living, for city retirees or state retirees. I do think our city retirees, state retirees do deserve a cost of living, because inflation is going up. The price of everything is going up in our city and our state, and giving our city or state workers, retirees, the opportunity. No one's wealthy. They just want to live with dignity in their retirement years, and I think that's what that's all about.
Well, Ed, actually, a lot of people are actually working longer now.
They are.
They're putting off their Social Security.
Yeah.
Waiting longer to collect it. They're waiting longer to retire from their jobs. I mean, even this morning, I looked at the Bloomberg channel. Just because the threat of tariffs and other things, the stock market was down 700 points.
Right.
And that affects people's 401ks.
Right.
When the stock market make drops like that, people was getting ready to retire this year. When you get that big fluctuation in the stock market. So there's a lot going on in this country. I mean, I know you're on the local level, but it's on a national level. The national level actually affects everyone on the local level.
It certainly does. And in downtown Boston, where we have a lot of financial companies that are there, they pay huge property taxes, but you don't want to see them struggling either. You want to see those companies successful. And when we see companies that are struggling in Boston, it has a big impact. We see a lot of buildings in downtown Boston where 5-6 years ago, the building went for $80 million, and now it's being sold for $12 million. And now the property tax and the value of that building will be on the $12 million.
Right.
So that revenue the city normally would get from that $80 million is not there. And also, we still have a 25% vacancy rate in many buildings throughout Boston. I think one issue, and a lot of people might disagree with me, and I understand that, I think it's time for people to come back to work full time, 5 days a week.
You mean stop working remote?
I think so.
Yeah.
If it's not 5 days a week, maybe 4 days a week. Give people a little bit of grace. But I think working home for 3 days a week is hurting the economy. It's hurting the revenue of the city. I don't think Boston can sustain that any longer.
So it's basically almost like a trickle down effect for everyone.
I think so.
Because the domino effect.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking. Why? Because a person that's working from home 5 days a week, they're not coming out, they're not buying lunch, they're not spending money. So it hurts the whole revenue across the board.
That's exactly right. And that company that they work for, they don't need all that square feet of office space any longer.
Exactly.
If their workers aren't working, why do you need these exclusive, prominent addresses in Boston?
Yes, exactly.
You guys know them: Federal Street,
Yeah.
Franklin Street, Milk Street, Congress Street. You don't necessarily need those prominent State Street, prominent addresses, because if no one's coming into the office, why are you paying that much money on rent at these beautiful buildings?
That makes sense.
Right.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack, and folks got to get ready, man. We talk. Rich and I often talk about the changes that are coming nationally in terms of jobs and AI, and sometimes we forget about what's happening here locally. So I'm glad you came in and kind of educated us on some of those cuts that might be happening. But I don't know. Is there anything folks can do at this point outside of just preparing, or I don't know?
Yes, Steve and Rich, I think you guys were so accurate in explaining the impact these cuts have on regular families, everyday people they're not making a lot of money, but they're just trying to raise their family the best they can.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a role for residents to play, especially during this upcoming budget debate at the city council. It's important, as Rich was saying, talk to your city councilors about how important BCYF centers are. Let people know that you can't balance the budget on the backs of young people that need after school programs, that need to learn how to swim, that want to play sports, that want tutoring programs. They need tutoring programs. Those are the programs that we need to advocate for. But there are going to be cuts.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to advocate for what's important to you, what's important to your neighborhood, what's important to your family. And I think that's supporting our youth in our city. I think that's critical, that we give our youth the opportunity to be healthy, to be successful, and to live a productive life.
And use the reserve. That's what it's there for.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Question. Ed, quick question before you move on. Are we allowing outside like private entities, like foreign money, to buy up commercial property in Boston? That's been a thing that I've heard about over the years, where they buy property, they sit on it and just hold it. Are you familiar with any of that going on in the city of Boston in the commercial property?
Unfortunately, I am familiar with it. It is happening.
Should that be allowed?
The foreign companies, foreign governments have bought up significant property
because they have so much money, they can buy a property and they can sit on it.
They can sit on it
and just pay the taxes. I that's something that I personally don't think should be allowed.
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe it's something that
drives rents up in Boston. Also,
it does. Boston should have a discussion about that. But there is a lot of foreign money that's invested in our city, whether it's in the Prudential area, the Copley area,
even some of those $1 million condos downtown.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They get bought up by foreign entities, and all they do is sit on them. They might even have the kids go to college while they're going to BUBC, Harvard. They're staying in the $1 million condominium, and they sit on that, and that drives real estate prices up too.
It does. Boston may want to take a look at that and to see how we're able to get a better understanding of exactly what is happening, to know what is happening in the city, and how those homeowners or those condo owners can play a more active role in supporting the residents, supporting the city of Boston, especially during challenging times. I think that's a great question, and we haven't done our homework on that issue.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Well, Ed, we know you got a lot to do today, and we want to just thank you for coming through here, man. And yeah, we got a lot of work to do. I hope they do use that reserves, and hopefully people have enough information to go make a little bit of noise so that we can prevent some of these cuts.
Thank you.
If at all possible.
Yeah, thank you, Rich and Steve. And I enjoyed the conversation. What I especially enjoyed, I learned a lot from you guys as well, listening to you and you talk about what's important. So when I listen to people like you, it makes me a better leader. So I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here with you guys.
Yeah. Thank you,
You're
man.
welcome, man.
We appreciate you.
Thank
Ladies
you, guys.
and gentlemen, that's City Councilor Ed Flynn, and we'll have you back, man, soon.
I'd love to.
Give us a few minutes, or give me a few minutes. I'll be right back, and we will continue the conversation. We're going to talk some more sports. Also, we're going to talk about the Clarity Act when it comes to cryptocurrency. A lot of folks been saying, Steve, you don't talk about crypto anymore. Well, we're going to get into that in a few minutes, all right? Give me a sec, and we'll be right back. All right, we back. Urban Heat, Steve Gooseby here, R&B Talk. On a Tuesday, we switched it to Tuesdays, y'all, because I figured stuff happens over the weekend, man. I don't want to wait to Thursday to talk about it. It becomes old news by then. But anyways, before we get into sports, want to talk a little bit about crypto, Rich. So the Clarity Act, which is a very big deal. It's a law that is supposed to come into place for cryptocurrency. It was supposed to happen last year, but then the government shut down. It did not happen. So last Thursday was supposed to be the date the law supposedly passed. But what happened was the banks, right? The banks do not like, or better yet, what they did was they put into that act, whereas you cannot make yield on your stable coins. In other words, you can't leverage your stable coins to get paid interest off of your money. And so the banks don't want that. And the reason why they don't want that is the same reason why they don't want you owning cryptocurrency, because they want all the money. You know what I mean? So right now, you put your money in the bank, they give you 0.000 whatever percent back on your money, which is nothing. They take your money, they lend it out, and they earn all kinds of interest on your money, and they want it to stay that way. With cryptocurrency and with stable coins, you don't really need the banks, you can take that money and you can leverage it. You can get loans off it. You can earn all kinds of yield on that money. And they don't want us to earn yield off of our money if you happen to be an owner of cryptocurrency. So
what it comes down to, Steve, the banks want to keep making money, but don't want to let the little guy make any money.
They don't want the little guy to make money at all. And that's a major sticking point. So the guy, I can't remember his name, that the CEO of Coinbase, Coinbase is also being traded on Wall Street. It's a crypto exchange. And he doesn't agree with it. And neither do I. I think that, it's one of those things where people have made a lot of money off of crypto already. And with the law being put into place, it's supposed to give the banks clarity on what they can do and what they cannot do. And that's just one of the sticking points. And one of the things they want to be able to do, they want to be able to continue to make money off of our money, whether it's the dollar or whether it's cryptocurrency. And they don't want us to earn. It's like you taking your money and getting yield off of the money you have in the bank. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest sticking points. They just don't want you to earn more money on your money at all. It's a system, and that's the way it's been over the years, and they just want it to stay that way. So if you own, it's not a good day right now. I do believe the act will pass, and I can't see them passing it in making it that way, especially Trump when he owns. He's got his own crypto and all kinds of reserves for that being backed by the U.S. dollar. I don't see it happening. But the fact that they stopped it and slowed it down, it wasn't a good day for people who own cryptocurrency last week anyways. But it should happen. I believe it will. If it doesn't, I think what will happen is a lot of people are going to just leave the country and just go do it somewhere else, and they'll earn their yield somewhere else outside of the country, So that's the Clarity Act for you. All right.
So going forward, Steve, with the crypto, do you think with everything going on with the economy and everything, how do you think with the crypto market in 2026, what do you see happening?
I mean, I see the Clarity Act passing eventually at some point, probably, early February, if not sooner. That will pass, and it will be something that's acceptable. The banks won't be happy, Economy-wise, I don't think that's going to have a major effect on crypto. Crypto it's digital money, and it's a new technology. It's a blockchain that every major corporation, everything that you do will eventually, and is already being tokenized on the blockchain. Like Wall Street will be on the blockchain. They're doing things to tokenize that already.
Now, do you think MasterCard and Visa will eventually attach their financial?
They're already waiting.
Their financial plans to the crypto?
Oh yeah, they've already.
Will you be walking around with a credit card in your wallet and you go pay with crypto?
MasterCard, Visa, they already have partnerships with companies like Ripple and Stellar Lumens. There's a bunch of companies they already have deals with, partnerships with. They're all waiting for this Clarity Act.
Oh, okay.
That's the green light for them to go ahead and do what they got to do, because they'll have clarity on what they need to do. But I don't think the economy is going to have much to do with where crypto is going down the road. I just think it's outside of people being able to invest in it using their money, that would be an issue. But crypto's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. I mean, if you look at, for example, the Seattle Seahawks. What's the name of their stadium that they play in?
What is it? Crypto.com Arena?
Seattle is called Lumens.
Oh,
Lumens. I think it's Lumen Stadium.
Okay.
Stellar Lumens is a cryptocurrency. Their crypto that they own is XLM. It's a major cryptocurrency on the.
Well, that tells you right there.
blockchain.
When you start putting these names on sports arenas, that lets you know where this is going.
Yeah, and then you got you do have Crypto Arena, which is it's not the Lakers, it's where the Clippers play.
Exactly. Yeah, and Steve Ballmer, a billionaire.
Yeah.
So you think that guy is a billionaire, a tech guy.
Yep.
So you look at that. Who he put crypto name on his arena.
Right.
I mean, a lot of times, Steve, if you watch these tech guys, they kind of set the trends where the country's going.
Right. But the thing about hearing what you heard about the Clarity Act, what it does is it does scare people, and people go and they start selling their crypto. But as soon as they sell it, then all of a sudden you hear some big corporation just bought $10 million worth of this or that people are selling. And that's what's happening. Scare tactics. People end up selling, and there's only a certain amount of XRP left. There's only a certain amount of whatever other major crypto available. And so what happens, they buy it all up, and soon they get you right where they want you.
Sounds like the real estate market. When the real estate market crash, you got the big investors come up and buy everything when it's low.
Yeah, same thing with crypto. But so that's the deal with the Clarity Act. Again, big banks doing everything they can to stop the Clarity Act from passing unless it passes in their favor, which is they don't want you to earn any yield on your crypto at all, because they want you to do business with them where they earn all the yield from you putting your money in there and giving you back a couple of pennies. That's what they want. I'm against it, man. I'm about making bread. So, nah, hell no. Yep. Let's talk some more football, man. Before we get out of here, man.
Oh, man, Steve. Those New England Patriots. First of all, last night, national championship college football game.
Yep.
Oh, great game. Indiana University won their first national title.
Right.
They beat the University of Miami, who's a traditional football power. I mean, you had all the big names at this game. You had Ray Lewis, who attended Miami.
I saw that.
Michael Irving. You had Tom Brady there, the owner of
a big game.
The owner of the Raiders. They were there because the quarterback, Mendoza, is probably going to be the #1 draft pick. But, Steve, I mean, that was a great game last night.
Yeah.
I mean, Indiana, that basketball school that they're famous for, they're now a football school. And, Steve, the way they did it, they beat Alabama, traditional football power, Oregon, another traditional football power, and you beat Miami. Steve, do you know the University of Miami was the losingest college football team in the history of college football? There were 200 games under 500. They turned this thing around. I mean, it's Steve, honestly, being a football fan, college football, pro football, it's still hard for me to believe the University of Indiana. It doesn't even sound right that they're the national champs.
Right.
I mean, the coach did a great job. I mean, that team came together last year, Steve. They only lost 2 games last year.
Right.
This year, they went 16-0. Oh, by the way, they also beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. So it was great. It was a great weekend, 2 days of football. Then our New England Patriots, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Hard to believe, Steve, after going 4-13 last year.
Right. And I tell you, again, like you said earlier, man, you don't want to count your ducks early and you don't want to take Stidham lightly. But I feel like the NFL, as much as I love football, listen, I'm just going to say it. I love football. I love the game.
I know where you're going, Steve. Go ahead, man.
I still believe, man. I don't want to say it's the extent of wrestling yet, but some of these games, man, the refs have the control to make it go whatever way they want.
Well, Steve, let's just say,
for example, the Bills game with Denver, the Bills got robbed.
Oh man, that call was awful.
Yeah,
that was awful. The wide receiver hit the ground and had possession of the ball.
Right.
Then the cornerback rolls over, takes the ball away from him. That call, I don't know how it went that way. I don't even think it was a 50-50 call. Some people say, well, it was 50-50. I don't think so.
I thought it was an easy call. When you're on the ground, you're down by contact. How can he take the ball from him and they say it's an interception where, I mean, he actually bent down and pulled the ball away from him.
Yes, exactly.
So I didn't like that. I just felt like, they don't want Buffalo. That's not the narrative they want. So, but then, surprise, surprise, Bo Nix has got a fractured ankle or whatever it is, and he's not going to be playing. So I know they don't want Stidham on the marketing at all for the Super Bowl.
I mean, Steve, that would be a nightmare for the Denver Broncos to be in the Super Bowl with their backup quarterback. I mean, it's happened before.
And then if he goes down, who's behind him?
I mean, it's happened with Jeff Hostetler and the Giants. But the thing with that
How long ago was that?
That was back in, I believe, the 90s with Jeff Hostetler and the Giants. But the quarterback was kind of injured early in the year. So he took over mid-season.
Right.
Same thing with Nick Foles. Nick Foles took over for the Eagles back in 2017 when they beat the Patriots.
And Nick Foles was trash talking too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna bring that up, Steve. He's been doing a little trash talking. So you heard about that, huh, Steve?
Yeah. You won the Super Bowl. You beat. I went to that Super Bowl too, man.
Yeah.
I was there, man. I was disappointed. And Cooks was in that game. Ironically enough,
I know
Cooks got concussed
after he caught the ball over the middle.
After he caught the ball, he was out of the game. We missed him in that game too.
I know. You're right about that.
And we probably would have won with him in the game because he was schooling whoever was on him.
Well, Steve, you know, I hate to blame Bill Belichick, but when you don't play your second best cornerback in that game, Malcolm Butler, I still believe Bill Belichick cost us that Super Bowl. Because they picked on the Patriots' whole other side of the field and then go at Stephon Gilmore. And I don't think –
You think we'll ever find out why he didn't play that game? Because I'm surprised we haven't found out even today.
Well, Steve, a couple of years ago, if you remember, Bill Belichick brought Malcolm Butler back in here and had him in training camp. And rumor was it – I got some NFL sources that's been around the NFL. They told me Bill Belichick brought Malcolm Butler back for training camp and gave him a little bonus money, which you get money when you get cut. And he also brought him back so he can get his health insurance. So he kind of threw Malcolm Butler a little bone. So Malcolm Butler probably won't talk about the reason why he never played in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, because to this day, he still says he don't know why, but he knows why.
Well, you got to throw a little bone. Came back.
Was you out partying the night before? Did you mess with one of the wives? What was it? It had to be something like that.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
And even if he was out partying, man, okay, you don't start him and you maybe sit him for a quarter. If that.
I think what will happen, Steve, one of these days, one of the Patriots players will probably come out and talk about it. Steve, it takes a few years for some of this stuff to come out sometime.
Right. It does.
It takes a few years.
It does.
But what do you think, Steve, about these rumors that Bill Belichick might be heading to Buffalo?
I like it. And I know a lot of people, especially the haters. Listen, man, I like to call things for what they are. You can say what you want. If you don't like Belichick, whatever. Listen, people still want to say it was Tom Brady. Let's use this as an example right now. Is it Drake May? Or is it Vrabel?
It's Mike Vrabel all the way.
All right.
Putting his staff together.
But guess what?
All the experience.
Right.
Bringing in Josh McDaniels. This is about Mike Vrabel. It's not about Drake May.
And if it was Drake May, well, what happened last year?
Steve, what people forget, and I've had this debate, argument, whatever you want to call it, saying it was all about Tom Brady. No.
I think it's
Tom
stupid.
Brady was a 6th-round pick. And how many teams passed over Tom Brady? If Tom Brady
every team passed on him.
If he was that great of a commodity, would he have made it to the 6th round? Tom Brady was a lottery ticket for the New England Patriots, Bob Kraft. And once he got here, Steve, replaced Drew Bledsoe, Bill Belichick saw the potential in him, and Bill Belichick brought out that potential in Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was not the flavor of the month at all when he got drafted. And even, if you go back to that day, right? Remember the combine? Did you see him in the combine? Come on,
He was,
man.
Tom, hey, they said he was the slowest skinny guy they ever seen in the combine.
I mean, nobody was going to draft him, and they did.
Well,
They
Steve,
did, you know,
the first 3 Super Bowls, if you remember, just think back around the NFL, and I watch ESPN, I watch all these guys, the football heads talking on TV. Even after 3 Super Bowl wins, they were still calling Tom Brady a game manager. And back then, Steve, we had a great defense. Ty Law, Rodney Harrison, Willie McGinnis, Mike Vrabel, you name it, Richard Seymour. Those guys, Corey Dillon, they carried Brady for those first 3 Super Bowls.
Here's the thing that was great about Brady. Brady was very smart.
Brady was Brock Purdy.
He understood defenses, and he was a coach on the field. But he was not that when he first started.
He didn't become the Tom Brady we know until 2000. What was that? 2007.
I want to say Belichick made him who he was. He learned from the best,
most definitely.
You know, and he was very smart, which is one of the things Belichick liked to do when he draft players. He wants smart, intelligent players. You know, he don't want anyone that can't think on the fly or can't learn all the plays. Ocho Cinco, when he came here, people want to wonder why he wasn't great. You know,
well, Steve, you ever notice Belichick didn't give Brady any type of compliments or accolades until after he was gone?
Mm-hmm.
While you're playing for Bill Belichick really does not.
He didn't do it with
any
anybody.
accolade. He didn't do that to anyone.
Right.
He don't want you to think that you're ever bigger than the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but Belichick ending up in Buffalo, Steve. Oh my God! Imagine New England Patriots with Drake May, Mike Vrabel, and this team back as a contender.
I hope they do give him the job,
Steve.
I hope they give him the job because he'll have a quarterback, and he'll fix their defense.
Steve, imagine the storyline every season. Bill Belichick facing the New England Patriots twice a year. That's a great storyline,
and it'll be a fight. It'll be a good fight. I'm telling you, man. It'll be a great fight. I hope they do hire him as a coach. I hope they do.
That would be great.
I hope they do.
That would be great.
And you know, and I was gonna say, like, you know, all these teams firing all these coaches, like, who are you gonna replace these guys with?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, who's gonna be the replacement for Sean in Buffalo? Like, hopefully it is Belichick, but you know, I think a lot of teams are quick to let these guys go, man, not knowing like who's gonna replace them at the end of the day. You know, I think a lot of it is on Josh Allen too.
Oh, most definitely.
You know,
well, Steve, Josh Allen basically cost his team that game. If you look at his turnovers that cost his team the points, especially the one before halftime, where he's running down the field, there was about 14 seconds left. Well, you should have probably been kneeling the ball down and go into halftime. Steve, that 3 points made a big difference in that game.
Right. Hey, remember it was a highlight of Belichick talking to, it was Belichick and it wasn't Josh McDaniels. It was the other coordinator. I can't remember his name. O'Brien. It was O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien.
So, yeah, Bill O'Brien. So Belichick's talking to Brady. He's like, listen, calm down and throw the ball in. And he's like, there was 2 guys on me. He was like, on the one, the Edelman, he's like, oh, that one. you remember seeing that?
Yeah.
And it was another play. And then he said, what about the one over here? Oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't care who the quarterback is. You got to be coached. And
right.
And I think that might be one of the things, too, Josh Allen lacks, because now we played against all the best quarterbacks from Peyton Manning, my guy in KC, and we beat Patrick Mahomes,
Russell Wilson,
and we beat all of those guys, right?
Ben Roethlisberger.
They're beatable.
That's right.
And, you know,
Phillip Rivers.
I think a great coach will coach you to the point where you know, not just the quarterback, but even a defense on how to play certain players and find their weaknesses and all that stuff. That's one of the things that was great about Belichick, you know?
Well, Steve, this is why I'm telling New England Patriots fans, we're in a great position to go to the Super Bowl. But let's go in there and treat Jarrett Stidham like he's the number 1 quarterback in the NFL.
You know what?
And I think Mike Vrabel would personally.
Block off.
I think Mike Vrabel would personally keep these guys even keel. I don't think this team is getting overconfident. I think he's going to keep them even keel going into this AFC Championship game on Sunday.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He definitely will, man. That's going to be a big game. And now, did you watch the Chicago game?
Oh my God! You know what, Steve? I was rooting for the Bears. Caleb Williams. Did you see the throw at the end of the game?
Let me tell you something. I like Caleb Williams.
Oh, he's going to.
And that was the first game I watched him play fully.
He's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with going forward.
And let me say this too. Brock Purdy, he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. All right? If you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, you're not going to ever win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy. All right? Texans, I think you saw, you're never going to win a Super Bowl with C.J. Stroud. You're not. It's not going to happen. Certain quarterbacks, when it comes down to big games, they just don't have it.
Don't forget about the L.A. Chargers with Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
he hasn't been a great playoff quarterback either, Steve.
He's not there yet. I don't see him.
He's had 3 bites at the apple in the playoffs, and he has not performed well.
Right.
Certain guys, Steve, I tell you, the guy that's most dangerous to me that's left in the playoffs right now is Matt Stafford, L.A. Rams.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this, right? I like the Rams, but they're not winning the Super Bowl.
You like Seattle?
I like Seattle.
Well, the defense.
Yeah, because of the defense. But I just don't see, even if the Rams make it, I don't see Stafford can be beaten. He's one of those guys to me. I don't want to compare him to Josh Allen. I just don't think – I think they play it too close all the time.
Yeah, they do play it close. They do play some close.
And they don't win it convincingly.
No.
So I'm not scared of them.
If you remember the Super Bowl where they beat the Cincinnati Bengals, remember who saved them on that one? Aaron Donald.
Right.
Sacking Joe Burrow at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So
and they should have lost the Chicago game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Really.
They shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah, that's right.
Chicago lost that game.
Well,
they didn't win it.
I like Seattle and New England right now, Steve.
I like Seattle and New England, and Seattle's defense does scare me.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Seattle and New England all over again?
Yeah.
And remember, Steve, last time Seattle had a great defense, the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, and they got a good defense again, man.
Yeah. So
and I think that's who it's going to be. But if the Rams end up beating Seattle, I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared of them versus the Patriots. You know.
I mean, Steve, like I
Stafford
said,
does not scare me, man.
This seems like a dream right now.
They don't have that killer instinct at all.
I mean, the New England Patriots, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. Steve, this turnaround, Steve, I feel guilty.
Listen,
I feel guilty as a Patriot fan, man, because it happened so quick. How do you feel, Steve?
I knew the Patriots would make the playoffs. I felt good about that.
Well, we talked about that. Remember, we predicted when Mike Vrabel came here and put this staff together. Me and you talked about it back in the spring and summer. We predicted 10 to 11 wins, and we predicted playoffs. We didn't predict the Super Bowl.
Not the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Not the Super Bowl. And going back to that Texans game, that was a tough game.
Oh, that was a physical game.
That was a tough game.
That was a physical game.
And their defense is it. They got a great defense. I think the weather for us played the 6th man.
Most definitely.
And that's one of the things about teams coming to Foxborough. If you're not used to playing in the cold or the rain and the snow and how the weather was for us, listen, that's the weather is our 6th man here.
Well, Steve, I'm gonna tell you. See, that's why I did not want to play Buffalo. I wanted Buffalo to lose that night, Steve. Buffalo is a cold weather team. Steve, well, I don't know if you heard the weather, Steve, but man, we talking about some. If we would have been playing Buffalo at home this weekend, Steve, have you seen the weather report about this weekend?
No, what is it?
Oh man, we talking 20 inches, man.
Here in Boston?
Yeah. Check the weather report.
Oh damn. Oh man. Damn.
That's all right. We'll be in the house.
Right, I'll be in the house, man.
So Steve, Buffalo is a cold weather team. So,
but you know what? I wasn't worried about Buffalo because I felt the last time we played Buffalo, even though we lost, I felt like we were being conservative on both sides because we didn't want to show them everything.
Yeah, the second half we went a little bit too conservative.
Yeah.
When we were up, what was it, 21-3 at halftime, Steve?
Yep.
Yeah, we
got very conservative.
We went a little conservative.
As if we didn't want to show them everything because we knew we were going to be playing them again.
Yeah, we went very conservative in the second half. I was surprised at the play calling. It seemed like we didn't really get to we wasn't that seemed like we just wasn't using our regular plays in the second half.
And we made no adjustments. If you look at how the defense was the first half, second half, no adjustments at all. And teams always make adjustments after halftime.
We wasn't aggressive with our play call in the second half. At all. That really puzzled me in that game. It was almost like we just shut down our play call in the second half.
Yeah, like we did again. I felt like, listen, we're not going to show them everything.
I mean, at that point, Steve, we did have a 2-game lead on them.
Yeah.
If you count the fact that we beat them, we had a 3-game lead coming into that game.
Right.
So it's almost like we felt like we had the division secured already.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Yeah.
Yep. So we talking Patriots. You know, if you're a Patriot, what a great time to be a Patriot fan again, man. And I was always a fan. I didn't, you know, even when Brady left, man, I still watched him last year. And I liked Drake last year. I like the receivers we have, although people were like, we don't have receivers, and they say that all the time.
Isn't it amazing a difference a year make with an offensive coordinator and a new coach?
Right. And Keyshawn Boutte, that dude, like I said, he's a dog. He's a dope receiver.
Steve, think about it.
I think we have good receivers.
Steve, all we did was add Stephon Diggs.
That's it.
We got Pop Douglas, Boutte. We got Hunter Henry. We got the other tight end.
Pop Douglas, Henry, and Boutte is from last year. They was on the team last year.
Well, we got the 2-headed tight end. So Steve,
and we got the rookie receiver who's fast as hell.
Steve,
man.
we got the same guys catching the ball that was catching the ball, except for Stephon Diggs.
Right.
So let's be honest. We got the same running back, Lamondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
You know,
and you know what's crazy too? People say, "Oh man, we never had a top receiver." People complain about the Patriots over the years, right? We never had top receivers. Dog, we won 6 Super Bowls.
I know.
With Deion Branch
and
Troy Brown.
And what's so crazy?
David Givens. The list goes on, man.
Well, Steve, in the record-setting season, undefeated season, regular season, we had Randy Moss, one of the greatest receivers of all time.
Didn't even win.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
You know what? I'll never forget that night, man, because that was probably the first time I went. You know how you see, especially after the Buffalo loss, they got videos going around with all these people showing their emotion after the loss. Man, that was me. When we lost that game against the Giants, I watched it at my mother's house. And I was leaving, and Mom's was like, "Steven, you're not going to say bye?" I was like, "Oh, bye, Ma, I love you." I was so mad. I'm so out of it. I went home, got in the bed, put my covers over my head. I was like, yo, I was done, man.
Well, Steve, I'm going to tell you, Steve, for me, I've never watched the highlights of that game. I refused to watch
I didn't watch
highlights.
Afterwards. I didn't watch
that
the highlights
David Tyree catch off the helmet. I refused to watch it, Steve, because I'm still looking at that. And Rodney Harrison is tackling him. And I'm looking at the cornerback that ended up leaving as a free agent.
And there was all kinds of holding going on.
Oh my God!
And then the Asante Samuel dropped the interception.
That's what I'm talking about. Asante, all he had to do was go in there and hit David Tyree because he had the ball, and he drops that ball. He's watching Rodney Harrison tackle him. The ball's rolling down his helmet. If
he catches that ball, the game's over.
If Asante Samuel goes in there and tackle David Tyree, he doesn't get that catch, Steve, because you remember that was 4th down, Steve.
Yeah, that was 4th down. I remember. I watched.
If he tackles him, he goes in and tackle him while Rodney Harrison is there, because you're allowed to hit the guy when he has possession of the ball.
Right.
He drops that ball, Steve.
But it's on the helmet. You're right, man.
Somebody else. If you look to the left of that, Asante Samuel is watching. It's almost like he's frozen watching the play going on, you know. I think he thought he was going to drop the ball because Rodney Harrison was already there. And you know what? I could see that happening. But, Steve, I refuse to watch that. But I'm going to tell you, Steve, I'm going to be honest with you. Even though we lost to the Giants, between winning Seattle that goal line interception by Malcolm Butler.
Yep.
And the comeback in Atlanta. Steve, I'm gonna be honest. I'm over the Giants Super Bowl loss.
Oh, I'm definitely over it, but I'll never forget it.
Only thing about it, Steve, the undefeated season, if we went 18-1, Steve, it would have made us the greatest football team in history.
Right.
Some people say it would have been the greatest team in team sports.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been the greatest in team sports,
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's okay, Steve, because hey, man, here we are on the verge of going back to the Super Bowl.
And
man.
that Atlanta comeback was definitely, I'll never forget that. I still watch that today when it comes on TV.
Hey,
man.
I got friends in Atlanta, man. Friends and family. Hey, man, that city never recovered from that,
Nah, man. And I'll never forget the day after, man. I got friends down there. I was making calls, and they were like, yo, nobody's on the highway. Like, nobody went to work.
Nobody went to work.
It was a ghost town the next day, man.
Yeah.
Nobody went to work.
You know what?
Man.
It's tough losing like that, man. We've been lucky in the city of Boston. Well, the New England area. Patriots, Red Sox,
we're spoiled,
Celtics,
man.
The Bruins snuck that Stanley Cup in after 50 years, almost 40-something years.
At one point, one of the sports teams was winning. If it wasn't the Patriots, it was the Celtics. If it wasn't the Celtics, it was the Bruins. If it wasn't the Bruins, it was the Red Sox.
Well, we was having a parade every year, Steve.
Every other year, there was a parade.
Now, let me ask you a question, Steve. During this last 25 years, how many sports parades have you went to?
Oh, man, almost just about all of them.
Okay, I just want to know, because I've been to the Red Sox.
Out in the cold.
I've been to the Patriots. Celtics during the summertime. I've been to the Bruins. I've been to all the parades. I mean that's a great time for us in the New England area.
Listen, we're spoiled, man. You see what I'm wearing, right? You see it?
That's right.
Wait a minute. Oh, it's on this side.
You
see that, right?
You know it.
Got all the teams on it, man.
That's right, Steve.
Red Sox, Bruins, Patriots, Celtics.
Oh man, this weekend's gonna be great, man.
Yeah.
From what I hear, Steve, we got some snow coming, man. Check your weather report. I heard we might have a northeaster coming this way.
Don't say 20 inches, man. But
I heard 20 inches. I heard the Cape getting 17 to 20. But I heard we're gonna get hit with a lot. But Steve, it's that time of year,
Yeah. We're almost. Listen, we just got to get through this month in February, and then we're good after that.
That's right, man.
We're good after that.
So that's great, man. We looking forward. And also, I want to mention our Boston Celtics, second in the East, had a great battle last night with the first team in the East, the Detroit Pistons.
Right.
Jaylen Brown, we lost by 1 point. Jaylen Brown missed the game-winning shot. It bounced up, and I thought it was going to drop in. But another strong effort by the Celtics, a 1 point loss.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like Jason Tatum's ramping up his workouts, Steve. I saw some video. He's ramping them workouts up.
Yeah, I saw a video where he just went in and he dunked it, grabbed the rim, pulled himself up, and looked like didn't look injured to me.
And in some more NBA news, Steve, Jimmy Butler, the Warriors, they were on a nice little 5-6 game winning streak. Jimmy Butler tore his ACL last night.
Oh, so that's what I saw.
Yes,
okay.
37 years old. I don't know, Steve.
I was wondering what happened.
I don't know how many 37-year-olds come back from ACLs. Yeah,
that's it. Well, that's it for Golden State then.
Yeah, he tore his ACL. They were still in the 8th spot in the West. I didn't see them making no noise. They're kind of old.
Yeah, they're done.
But they were always a threat. When you got Steph Curry, you're always a threat.
Yeah.
The guy's still averaging 27, 28 points a game, Jimmy Butler. And tore his ACL last night. That's bad news for the Golden State Warriors, man.
Wow.
But I tell you, Steve, going forward, man, this NFL coaching carousel right now, man, it's crazy. Miami Dolphins hired a coach yesterday. I think his name is Halfley. He was the old Boston College coach a couple of years ago. He went to Green Bay as a defensive coordinator. That was a shocker. I thought they were going to try to get a more prominent big name coach in Miami, but they took the Green Bay defensive coordinator and the old Cleveland Browns coach that was screwing Shedeur Sanders around.
He's in Atlanta.
He got hired in Atlanta.
He's going to get booed, I tell you.
Yes.
I'll tell you now.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna boo him in Atlanta.
I know. Isn't that amazing? Of all places, Atlanta.
Remember, I said that they're gonna boo him.
Yeah,
let them in Atlanta. It's kind of like New York when it comes to sports.
Well, Steve, I thought that was a bad hire for Atlanta.
I was shocked that they would do that, man.
Why would you hire this guy?
And that's where Dion, he played in Atlanta.
Dion played for the Atlanta.
Yeah.
He played for the Atlanta Braves.
And the Falcons.
And the Falcons. Yes, that's right, Steve.
So listen.
That was a shocker. I mean, I don't know, Atlanta, about that choice, you know?
Yeah. So I do hope that the Bills hire Bill Belichick. I do hope that happens.
Well, his name's circulating, Steve. There's rumors that he
that'll
might
be some great competition for the AFC East. You know, might have to take some trips to Buffalo. You know, Pats in Buffalo.
See what's going forward, Steve.
Yeah, man. But hey, thanks again, Rich, man.
Always a pleasure, Steve.
Yes, indeed. All right, that's gonna do it for Tuesday. R&B Talk. We'll do it again next week. R&B vibes already rolling. Urban Heat.
I don't wanna hear it one time, trying to make you mine. When I pick you up, girl, I'm good. Just shower me with your energy, girl. Get closer to my love. You ain't feeling this love, you got no